Welcome to Art at Your Library. I am Susan Henricks, Director of Carnegie-Stout Public Library. The library has had a long history in the arts. In fact, the library was the first formal venue for the display of artworks in the city, in a larger venue anyway. In 1902, 9 months before the library opened, the Artists Dubuque Art Association transferred their works of art to the library for a show. There were 15 works of art. Judge Oliver Shiras and his wife donated the library's first work of art, and it's called The Three Fates. As you can see here, it's a ceramic vase that was intricately designed. Mrs. Emma Ward donated many of the library's valuable works of art, including Bruce Crane's The Last Gleam and Franz Charlet's The First Lesson. In 1923, Mary Lowe left a painting and a Carrara marble statue entitled Pandora to the library. Additionally, she left a gift of $5,000, and the interest of which was to be used for the purchase of artworks. The library board invested in several works of art that have become very valuable. The first purchase was the painting of The Poacher by Herbert Nichols. In 1934, the library purchased two Grant Wood paintings titled Appraisal and Victorian Survival. These two paintings are on loan to the Dubuque Museum of Art and can be seen there. In 2006, the Carnegie-Stout hosted the first Art at Your Library. The goal of these bi-monthly shows is to raise awareness of art in general and artists, local artists in particular. Art at Your Library has an opening reception on the first Friday of every other month, beginning in February. During the past 14 years, the library has hosted dozens of artists to celebrate their talent. Several talented artists have had their first show at Carnegie-Stout. This month's show features the Quad City figure artists. We will take you on a tour of this exhibit. It will be open during library hours through September 20th, and most items are for sale.
Hello, I'm Joan Tully, and I'd like to welcome you to the Art Doll exhibit at the Carnegie-Stout Library. We appreciate the opportunity to show our creative endeavors, and we are a large group, a small group of ladies, very creative, come from different professions, that have a very creative and are very ingenious at creating figures. These are not dolls. These are sculptures that can be used in various environments. I am a fiber artist and a doll maker, and I usually work in clay. And this is one of my figures. It's Mr. Horatio Pepper's Summer Love. He is made out of clay, wire, fabric, and this clay is something I enjoy. My other figures here are a representation of different types of media I use. I use wet felting. This little guy is Arnold. This is clay and fabric. These are hand-painted faces. This is all fabric. So I have the opportunity to utilize quite a variety of different medias and techniques in my work, which I thoroughly enjoy. This is a series that I did. I developed the pattern for Auntie Maud Teapot. And these other two are variations from the same pattern, and these patterns are available here at the library at $12. This little girl is called Missy Muppet and Henry. Henry's a spider up on top. She's eating her curds and whey. This figure won second place in a national thread competition, Sulky of America. And the idea was to use their thread as best you could in creating an image. This piece is called Angel, This was done in a workshop. She is all leather and is quite done. This piece is called Herbert. He's steampunk. He's a steampunk guy made out of a variety of materials, from a old faucet or candy to nails, old broken nails, and old roller feet. This is called the Gift Giver. This is a sculptured vase with a stump body. I made one of these for every member of the family one Christmas. And then this is a Alice Blue gown, and she is a bed doll, very soft. This is Waiting for a Ride. She's made out of a nylon stocking with sculptured shoes. And that's about all that I can present to you.
Hi, I'm Colleen Curry. I'm from Donahue, Iowa, and I started making these doll sculptures in 1995 or 1996. Okay, I'm Colleen Curry. I'm from Donahue, Iowa, and I started making dolls in 1995 or 96. This particular group, Art Figures of the Quad Cities, used to be called Hello Dollies. And we started out that way. And there were 4 of us. We met in each other's homes. Now, I brought to this show a series of sculptures that I made using people's shoes. So you will see patent leather shoes with wheels on the back, with the dolls actually drawn on, a molded clay face in a high heel on a 1930s plastic purse called Ruby Slipper. And then we have the protector who's bleeding because he's protecting the babies of all of us. And then we have my husband and I called Kiss Kiss, a pair of little Dutch wooden shoes, and Kitty Cat with child's slipper. And Picasso Who. I spent some time studying Picasso, and he's kind of a favorite artist of mine. This small gilts was made with some toys that my mother gave me in the 1950s. The wooden shoe is an actual wooden shoe, and the head was molded out of paper clay. So I'm trying to show here how we all imbibe in a lot of different things. We go a lot of different places, and we have a lot of small gilts about what we do. I do have another one. This is called Leading with Your Chin. And many of us are pretty loud spoken of what we're going to do. We are arrogant. We point our chin up. So anyway, this pair of red patent leather high heels and these twins are leading with their chins.
My name is Deb Weber. I'm from Moline, Illinois. I joined this group of artists about 20 years ago. And since joining them, I've learned to use many different materials and techniques. We'll start with a few over here. I sculpt the faces out of polymer clay, and then usually use just a wire and foil base. Then I use a lot of found objects. I like antique laces. I like new trims. I like old junky pieces of jewelry that people have given me by the ton. So as you can see, many of them are using several of those kind of materials. I like to work in whole figures or in faces. Some of the animals I've done. I like fantasy figures. Here's an old teapot. I like hiding things in my figures, so I like to be able to for people to turn them around and find little hidden things, like there's a rabbit in this one, and there's a butterfly on the front, a bug. This one was made out of just a bunch of silver chains. This one is made out of old telephone parts and a sheep shear.
My name is Sue Kirk, and I'm from Davenport, Iowa. And I've been doing crafts since I was 4 years old, and started with embroidery and fiber type things that my grandmother taught me. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, I got into the doll group, and I started with a doll that I made out of cloth that I did not bring because I didn't want to embarrass myself. And then I started taking some classes with the ladies, and they're so talented, and we learn something every time we get together from each other. And it's a process. I do a lot of unusual type things. The dragons are really important to me. This one is made out of styrofoam balls and wire for the legs, and most of the wings were just made out of the wire across the top, and then some paper towels that are put on with a solution that stiffens them and hardens them, and then you paint them. There's a lot of different kinds. I like a lot of different stuff. So I have the metal pieces out of just leftover metal pieces that are always falling off. And this was a class that we made where we exchanged body parts. Everybody made heads, arms, and legs, and bodies, and then we exchanged them and put them back together. And that became my 1962 orchestra person. But I like a lot of different things. Some of them are made out of fabric, some are made out of clay, some are out of different types of wires. Then on the other end, we've got some that are naturals, that are made out of just natural stuff, leaves and pods and pieces of different kinds of, I don't know what they call some of this, but these pods here, some of that stuff is entirely different. So I've been doing this probably about 7 years now. And it's just such an interesting thing to try new things. This one was, I was just trying to balance the guy on top of his wall to see if I could make that go. And he turned out kind of cool. So that's really all I know. There's just a lot of different processes.
Hi, I'm Georgeann Kreiter from Davenport. I have been a member of the Doll Club for a number of years, not since its inception, but for a long time. I have enjoyed making dolls since I was a teenager and made them for my children when they were little, or for my daughter, and have branched out to many other materials besides cloth. One year we did a self-portrait, and this is supposed to look like me. This was one of my very first dolls as a member of the club. This doll is made out of natural materials in fabric. This little gal is fabric, t-shirt, and paper towel covered with Paverpal, which makes all those materials waterproof, and she could be set outside and not deteriorate. This guy is Santa on a stick. He's polymer clay. Polymer clay has to be baked in the oven. All of these are Christmas ornaments. Each year I make a different ornament for my grandchildren, my children, close friends, and relatives. And so each year has been different. And I've been doing that since I was a teenager. But these represent just things from the last few years. This gal is a dancer. She is tattooed, which I really don't approve of. It bothers me when people tattoo themselves, but I thought it was kind of appropriate for her. And her hair is a scrunchie. This lady is Babushka, the Russian giver of gifts at Christmas time. And all of these little dolls in her basket are porcelain and hand-painted by me. This lady is called Smoke, just because of her ethereal tulle around her. And the fabric on her legs is made of layers of different materials and then ironed together. This schoolmarm is also made with vintage laces. This is Chatty Chick, who is styrofoam balls and paper clay and then painted. This lady is a bird lady with mask, and she is sitting on a board. And all of the other materials, or all of the other texture on her is epoxy sculpt, which is an air-dried clay.
Okay, this work that you're seeing now is from Rosalie Baker. She's from Davenport, Iowa, and she's quite a well-known quilter and fiber artist, and she's done a lot of really beautiful figures in different types, starting with the Steampunk Fairy. It's got a lot of different metal pieces on it to make it more of the steampunk. She's got this one with the leaf is just a really popular one. One of the girls on down farther was made out of a picture from her granddaughter that is exactly like the granddaughter looked. It was so cool. The horse is something that we made in a class. We once in a while have a national teacher come in, and the horse is one that we all made in a class, which was really, really a neat experience. Rosalie's been doing this for a lot longer than I have, so she was one of the original ones, wasn't she? So she was one of the original 4 people that started the Hello Dollies when it was that, and now it's called Art Figures of the Quad Cities. She does wonderful work, as you can see.
This collection is the work of Jeanne Knape from Davenport, Iowa. Jeanne does collages with figures and cloth and all kinds of accessory items. This is one of her pieces called Family of 4 with mixed media and naturals in it. This is called King and Queen. Again, a collection. And this is My Inner Self, which is a doll head, a figurehead, and inside and one up above. Jeanne is very, very creative and utilizes a lot of different medias in her work.